Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're having an awesome day. Mewtwo is speculated to be dropping right after the legendary birds are done, and that would be September 1st or the evening of August 31st. But, of course, we get an invitation on when Mewtwo will be dropping on a gym, had you have done a raid on that gym. So, Mewtwo, right around the corner, right? Speculatively, but he should be. So, how can we prepare for Mewtwo? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to give you guys everything you're going to need to know. Okay, first things first, we need to go over Mewtwo's stats, as shown here. Now, Mewtwo did get a 9% nerf. So his attack stat is 300, the defense and stamina stats are like 180 something, the high 180s for defense, and then the 190s for stamina. Pretty significant nerf. Again, 9% nerf on all stats. But as you can see, the quick moves are Confusion and Psycho Cut. And then the charge moves are Psychic, Hyper Beam, Focus Blast, and Shadow Ball. Now, why am I showing you this? Because this factors into preparing for Mewtwo raids. Depending on those charge moves is going to depend on what Pokemon you need to use. Or at least be wary of when you're making said Pokemon choices to counter Mewtwo. Now, let's go into one of the first and best counters for Mewtwo. Now, this first one ought to make common sense, Tyranitar. Tyranitar is probably the best counter for Mewtwo with Bite and Crunch, because Bite and Crunch does super effective damage towards Mewtwo. Now, be leery of a Focus Blast from Mewtwo. I am almost 100% guaranteeing that even if you dodge a Focus Blast, it is going to one-hit your Tyranitar. I mean, Mewtwo's base attack is 300, and it's a raid boss, so all his stats are buffed. So even a dodged Focus Blast should one-hit your Tyranitar or be extremely close, because it does 4 times damage to Tyranitar. But again, if it doesn't have Focus Blast, you're in the clear. All the other moves basically do no damage to Tyranitar for the most part, so Bite and Crunch is what you want for Tyranitar. Staying on the same topic for Dark-type moves, Houndoom. Houndoom has a very high attack stat of 224, and you want Snarl and Foul Play, both dark moves. Now, Fire Fang does do more damage in turn, but Fire Fang doesn't do super effective damage. With Snarl doing stab and super effective damage, you are much better off. So, basically what I'm telling you is if you do have the best moveset Houndoom with Fire Fang and Foul Play, just change the quick move to Snarl. You'll be glad you did, because you'll be doing a ton of damage to Mewtwo. Again, you do want to be wary of a Focus Blast, as that's going to absolutely wreck Houndoom, especially with that low defense and stamina. Now this should be another no-brainer, Umbreon. Umbreon is extremely tanky with that 250 defense and that 190 stamina, regardless of that low attack stat, because Umbreon is going to take the hits from Mewtwo, even with Mewtwo's really high attack, minus the Focus Blast. But you want the best moveset, Feint Attack and Foul Play. Even with that 126 attack, Umbreon is going to be able to survive a lot longer, which means, in turn, dealing a lot of damage, regardless of that low attack stat. And perhaps the last viable option for a double Dark-type moveset is Gyarados. Gyarados with Bite and Crunch. Gyarados has, very good stats, and it takes no super effective damage from any of Mewtwo's moves. So you want a Gyarados, at least one. Have one in your party that has Bite and Crunch. I know that's not optimal for Gyarados to have in any other situation, period, but you at least want to have one Gyarados in your team with Bite and Crunch. Bite as a fast move for Gyarados is pretty good anyway, because it makes it easier to dodge things. So it's going to help against Mewtwo, especially when they fix the dodge glitch, which I hope they do. Let's keep our fingers crossed. So yeah, you want to Gyarados with Bite and Crunch if you want to deal a massive amount of damage to Mewtwo. Okay. This one is obviously a glass cannon, because if Mewtwo with his fast moves of being Psychic is going to absolutely wreck Gengar, but Gengar is a glass cannon anyway. Make sure you have one near maxed if you're going to use one, but Gengar deals a lot of damage too. The ideal moveset is Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball. If you don't have a Shadow Claw Gengar, because it's a legacy move, don't even bother using Gengar at all. Just have an extra Tyranitar with Bite and Crunch, or an extra Gyarados with Bite and Crunch, something like that. Because Shadow Claw just rips. It does so much damage. Hex, not so much. I mean, look at the difference in DPS. 16.1 as opposed to 10.4. Not very good. And Shadow Ball, it will destroy Mewtwo as well. But again, Gengar is weak against Psychic. So if you don't dodge any of those quick moves, especially if it's Confusion from Mewtwo, you're not going to last very long. You'll get a couple hits in, maybe a Shadow Ball or two if you were lucky. But again, you want to have Shadow Claw with Gengar. If you don't, I don't really see this as a viable option. Hey, Pincer has a use. I mean, look at those stats though. Pincer has 230 attack, 197 defense, and the stamina that's low. But if you have a high level Pincer, you're going to deal a ton of damage. Bug is super effective to Psychic, and none of Mewtwo's moves will do super effective damage against Pincer. And you want Bug Bite and Scizor. That is the best moveset. You're going to deal a lot of damage on Mewtwo with a very good Pincer. Absolutely. So make sure you have one in your team. If it's bad IVs, don't power it up, but make sure it has bug moves. You're going to deal, again, a lot of damage. And then, staying on the bug train, Scizor. Scizor already has incredibly amazing stats. The attack defense is ridiculous, similar to Pincer's. And you want Fury Cutter and Scizor. With Fury Cutter, you're just going to shred through Mewtwo, get the fast energy, and then Scizor, you're going to be using Scizor a lot. So Scizor will do a ton of damage and won't take any super effective damage. I think Fighting actually might do super effective damage on Steel. I'm going to have to look into that. But nonetheless, Scizor is one of the best choices to use against Mewtwo anyway, hands down. Well, there you have it. There are the best Pokemon to counter Mewtwo per se. I will say some notable mentions is Dragonite, because Dragonite has such incredible DPS. Maybe even a Steelix, because Steelix doesn't take super effective damage from Mewtwo, regardless from Focus Blast, so I still need to look into that. But basically Pokemon that deal a massive amount of damage, like Moltres, Zapdos, they deal a massive amount of DPS, but go with the ones that I listed that do super effective damage, dealing the most possible damage you can by taking control of stab and super effective damage. That's it with me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and comment down below. How are you going to counter Mewtwo? Do you have some really good Tyranitars, some Scizors, some Pincers? If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Supply all the latest updates, tips, tricks, speculations, entertaining vlogs, and entertaining live streams. I'm signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next Pokemon Go video.